What's up, guys? Yes, we are back for another amazing week here on It's Consulting Time with your girl Lily Mae. And so this evening is going to be spectacular. And so I hope you took your time and read a little bit about our first guest of the hour. Miss Dani is spectacular, right? She is an individual who is truly serving the community in entertainment and film and arts. And she's not just doing it, on the screen, she's doing it behind the scenes. And so, guys, in a few minutes, we are going to talk to Miss Dani, and I think you're going to really enjoy some of the things that we have to talk about because we're not just going to talk about the craft, right? Because everybody wants to talk about the craft. Everybody wants to know how to get there quick, right? Instant gratification, microwave popcorn style. I want it now. But tonight, we're going to talk about the complexity and the comprehensive nature of acting, coaching, existing, just being an activist in the space of entertainment and film. And so, in just a few minutes, I'm going to bring Miss Dani out and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you guys. And it's just going to be an amazing evening. All right, here we go. And now, y'all know I cannot make drum sounds, but hello, Miss Dani.
Hey, I guess I gotta march in on your drum sounds.
Oh, you got it. I know that's right. Look, we got to get that drum line thing going. However they did it,
I know, right?
But Dani, welcome. So first and foremost, give us the formal introduction, and then I'm gonna tell the churn what you've been up to.
Okay, well, hey everyone, I am Dani Gueveraz, your soon-to-be favorite actress and favorite acting coach. And I'll let you take on the rest. I don't know anything. I don't know how to.
Oh, you got it. So, guys, so if you paid attention, I'm gonna flash it again just so you kind of know who you're looking at. So Dani made her original streaming acting debut on the third season of First Wives Club, but she's no stranger to acting. And the reality is that I don't even know where I want to start, Dani. And I say this because you have done everything from A to Z relative to serving in this community. So I guess before we talk about the acting coaching and things of that nature, let's go back to the First Wives Club audition. Like, walk us through, the highs and the lows of how you prepared for it, what it was like, and things of that nature.
Okay, so First Wives Club, the audition, it was through self-tape. My agent, sent me sides to audition. But I auditioned 3 times with 3 different characters. So, I mean, getting this audition, this was like around my 14th year of, pursuing acting and 14 years of auditioning. So I'm getting this one and I'm starting to get in this headspace of every audition you have, you're not going to get. You can get as far as a callback, still don't get it. My very first audition with an agency, I got the role. My first audition, I got the role. But then they called me back and said, we're going to give it to someone else because they know martial arts. So I'm at this like, if I get it, I get it. Yeah, whatever. So I auditioned 3 times, 3 different roles. The first 2 times I auditioned for, some characters that are in season 3. So it's all in season 3 that they're like just throwing these auditions at me. And I'm at this, I started to get at this place of, okay, I do the audition, let it go, rip them sides up, move on to the next and not think about it anymore. So then I get the third one. I'm like, okay, this is the third one. What's going on? You want me or nah? So I auditioned, and again I ripped the sides up when I'm done, because it's one of those practices, you just get it out your mind, you move on, right? So I just get rid of everything from that so I can just mentally move on. And then a week later my agent calls me and she's like, hey, you booked it, you got the role. And I'm like, finally. Okay, First Wives, here we go. And I'm a fan of the show, so I watched the show. So I knew,
okay.
I knew the essence of the show. I knew the comedy of it. I knew the wardrobe. I knew everything about this show.
Okay.
So when I got it, I was like, okay, I just was prepared for it,
Okay, so Dani, okay, guys, first and foremost, let's go back and hit a couple of key points. I think it's important to note that you said you had been in this thing 14 years.
Yeah. Well, 15 years now. Yeah.
15 years now. So, guys, I think that's a testament to the fact that it's not microwave popcorn. In this entertainment industry as a whole, it takes time. It takes time. It takes diligence. It takes consistency. Also, there's a significance in you ripping up the sides when you finished, sending in your audition tapes or your self tapes, or or auditioning for these roles. Like, to me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, to me, the significance in that is it's over, it's done, it's finished. Don't dwell on it. Move on to the next and perfect whatever I need to, right?
Exactly. It's just like you're being in a relationship. You're in this relationship with this guy or whatever. Y'all taking photos. Y'all so in love. I'm having a relationship with this character at this time. I'm embodying this role. I'm in it. But then once it's done, if I can't control what happens next, I'm not going to hold on to this and not. I can't wait to see if he's going to give me a ring.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I like that, guys. If you like that, y'all better drop some fire in this chat. If you like that, baby.
It's like that. It's one of those relationships. It's like, if I can't hear anything, a yes or a no right now, then I have to rip it up. I have to rip up those photos that we took. I have to rip all this stuff up and leave it alone. And then I'll wait on your call, or I'll wait on you to get on your knee and propose.
Indeed. So, okay. My other question, and we're sticking with this because you really hit some important things. So also, you stated one of the roles you didn't get was because the other person knew martial arts. Now, the question is, at that point, did you think about pursuing training in martial arts?
I did. Yeah. It's always a lesson in every audition when you don't get it. It's like, what can I do to now be a contender in this?
Yes.
Like, okay, I need to learn some martial arts. So yeah, I took some kickboxing classes, just stunt training, just a whole bunch of things, just so I can be prepared. They say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Girl, listen. Yes.
Yeah.
So Dani, and we're gonna definitely y'all keep the comments coming, questions. We will definitely, as we progress through, we will definitely answer some of your questions. And so thank you, Karen Johnson, Antoine, Courtney. Thank you everybody for checking in. So Dani, I think the lesson here for the viewers, since this is It's Consulting Time, where we strive to enforce and reinforce purpose over popularity, the lesson to be learned is, don't pout because you're the best and you're the greatest. Learn what you can do to reinvent and perfect your craft, right? Like, I think that's, in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Yeah. And like you said, like, you don't want to get into it the popcorn way anyway. Because let's say
Repeat that, please. Repeat that, Dani.
You don't want to get into it the popcorn way. You don't want to jump into the microwave, and you just don't want to do that.
Okay.
So that's why I'm grateful. Now, at the time, it was hard seeing it. The time, I'm like 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. What's going on? it was hard living in that. But now that I'm seeing it, I was like, man, I'm so much more prepared now than I was, or I wasn't with that first audition with the martial arts.
Okay.
You know, so there's a blessing in time.
Ooh. Okay, guys. Hashtag blessing in time. That's all I'm saying. Come through, Dani.
In time. In the right time, you get that blessing.
Yes. Okay, all right. So, guys, you know she's an actor. Well, an actress. You know she's an actress. You know she's been in First Wives Club. But we're going to step back. Y'all know I like to go all over the place because there are certain lessons and there are certain things that we have to take away from Miss Dani. So, you also work as a production secretary for The Voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. I auditioned for The Voice some years ago. I've auditioned for them quite a few times too. I'm pretty persistent when it comes to these auditions. And I didn't make it through, but I looked at my IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database that has all your, information of what you've done on there. And I looked myself, and The Voice had put me down as a production assistant. I did not take on that. I've never been their production assistant, and I never took it down. And the reason why I didn't take it down is because when I was seeking my last agent, she went on my IMDb, and the thing that stuck out to her was The Voice. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you was on The Voice, a production assistant." Now I told her truthfully, like, no, like I'm telling y'all, like, no, I haven't been on there, but I just never took it off. So I've auditioned quite a few times.
Wow.
I haven't worked with them as a production assistant with them, but I have worked as a production assistant on other projects.
You know what? Integrity. Like, yo, guys, you know what? Hands down. I don't care what else she say in this interview. At this point, all I know is the level of integrity that you just exhibited, because you could have went with it and came up with this whole story about how you were the production secretary and you did this and you wrote this and you could, you already know what goes on. Girl, these captions will have you thinking that Jehovah Jireh came into some of these things. So I'm just saying. But I love it. The integrity. So, guys, once again, integrity, your character, Dani, this speaks volumes. It speaks volumes because it's out there. And guys, if you don't know what IMDb is, please go on imdb.com and really do your research. Because I'm going to tell you for real, Dani, there have been plenty of times people be like, oh, yeah, I wrote for such and such. And I'm like, oh, girl, that's good. Da, 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 da. So I'll meet someone else and they really did it. And I'll be like, well, do you know this girl? And they're like, no. They said, and one lady told me, Lily, you better go on IMDb and stop taking these people's word face value. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So, no, that's amazing. So, all right. You work behind and in front of the camera. And very different, but very similar because both situations kind of prepare you for performance. Can you tell us a little bit about how working behind the camera and in front of the camera is kind of cultivating this powerful actress?
Well, it's like knowing every part of the machine. So being behind the camera, operating the camera, understanding sound, understanding lighting, just understanding like the coaching, the directing, especially the directing side and the editing side of it. Once you wear all those hats, and then now you are in front of the camera, you're making everyone else's job easier.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it helps with everyone else's job because you understand what they need from you, from your work. They know, so it's like when I'm acting, I know, like, keep on acting until the director says cut. Don't, after you say your
Oh.
line, do not stop the show. Keep on going. For one, the director, they like to see what you're gonna bring. And then two, the editor needs some stuff to work with to transition to the next scene. And vice versa. In the beginning of the scene, start acting. If you're at a table eating, start eating before you say your line. So then it's not like you sitting there and then you start eating. I can't, what can I do with this? You know?
I know that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely, okay, so that speaks to the importance of realistically being a servant before you try to lead, because you gotta know each, nuance. I love it. I love it. Guys, if you're just checking in, this is Danny G, and I'm gonna call you Danny G because I'm not butchering your name, because you're not gonna be talking about me. So I'm calling her Danny G. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So now, you've had an opportunity to work with a lot of great individuals, right? What would you say was the most profound, individual that you work with, and why? Like, what did you get from the experience?
I would say, and may he rest in peace, Tommy Ford from Martin. I worked with him on a movie called At Mamu's Feet. It was him and Dorian Wilson, and there was
Yes.
a lot of actors in this movie, in this project. And it was around my birthday. My birthday's March 24th, so that just passed.
Happy belated birthday! Hey.
So this was about, I think, 2013 when I worked with them, and I was on there working as assistant director, and I was acting in this movie. And for one, well, with it being on my birthday, that felt like a birthday gift, to be working with all of them and assistant directing them. And from him and Darian Wilson's work, I saw what it was like for these professional actors to be on set and how they had fun. They've been doing it for years, they were still having fun. And like, they taught me how to continue on with the story before the director says cut. Aries gang, like they taught me that, how to continue on with the story and just have fun. And they respected me being, I was like maybe in my mid 20s or so. They were listening to the direction that I was giving. So
Yes, yes.
that was a blessing, I would say.
Oh,
That
amazing, 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 guys. Yeah, definitely. Tommy, the interesting thing about it was a very, very distinguished actor that kind of flew under the radar. For real. Very distinguished. Like, it's so interesting, guys, when you're watching shows, it's different when you've been in a space to be in front of the camera or on a set. Because now when you're looking at shows, you're looking at it with a critical eye, really. Because, some shows, I'm just kind of like, that was so fake. And then some shows, I'm like, dang, I want to do it like that. So I definitely, I definitely agree with you, and I love the fact that you had that opportunity, because yes, definitely an amazing actor that truly did fly under the radar. Like, so many actors and actresses are underrated, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they choose their purpose over being popular. I do think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the business. All right, guys. So this is the thing. So y'all always want to know what people doing in the famous world, right? Please understand, there is creative and there's brand. And then the overarching umbrella is entrepreneurship, right? Right? So Danny has a virtual academy. And we're going to talk about it. But first and foremost, Danny, tell us a little bit about what catalyzed and influenced you creating this virtual academy for aspiring actors and actresses?
Yeah, I'm always in that mode of teaching. Whatever I'm doing, I find my fulfillment is in explaining what I'm doing and just seeing the light bulb go off when someone understands what I'm talking about. So, of course, I had to bring that into my acting. So when the pandemic happened and we were all locked in the house, I'm just wanting to communicate and still and teach and just talk about acting. So I created the Facebook group called Acting for Beginners, and during that time, it just skyrocketed from about 30 people to now today is maybe over 65.
Pause. That's your group?
Yeah.
Wow! Guys, hands down. Yeah, definitely join. Definitely enjoy, because a lot of times I'm just scrolling and reading. Never wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah.
Never even realized it. But anyway, please continue. Y'all know I be getting excited.
And that's the thing. And that's crazy that you didn't even know that was my group, because I focus on the acting side and I don't tell you much of like me, like it's really separate because
purpose.
Yeah. I want to just give you the information. So that's what the group was for, just to give out information. And of course, Facebook is free, so you're getting free information. So then I just decided, because it grew so much, and I was like, wow, this is telling me that I have a following, or there's people that they have a specific question of how do I get started. And I was like, I'm going to answer this question, but I'm going to give them more information and I'm going to create a business. So I stepped into it. And I recently, now the business itself was called Acting for Beginners, but I just recently changed it to Action Applied Acting, where I give you the actions to apply to your acting.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it happened. I'm just coaching and just giving that information out.
Wow. So guys, all right. So we have an actress, we have an educator, we have a coach, we have an entrepreneur. We have so many things right here, but I think that what sticks out the most, and I'm just going to stand on it, is your integrity. Like Dani, you literally in this little bit of time you've given the viewers so many life lessons, simple life lessons. Be present, be active, be honest, and be consistent.
Yeah.
Those 4 things, like, you've given us that. So then, I mean, hands down, guys, what I would say is check out Action Apply Acting. Dani, tell us a little bit about how, we can connect with you if, we're interested in kind of getting some supportive services in acting.
Okay, you can go to actionappliedacting.com.
Okay.
Everything is there. Okay. I have it all linked. Even if you follow me on Instagram, just Dani Gueveraz.
Dani Gueveraz.
There you go. If you just follow me, look up Dani Gueveraz or Action Applied Acting. It's out there. You'll find it. And I do private online coaching.
Wow, guys, this is amazing. Shout out to Real Cinema 314 Productions. Dani, we're gonna have to get you over there in that St. Louis market. They have an amazing film, media and entertainment space. They're doing a lot of great things out there. So shout out to Soldier by Blood. They're doing some things as well. And so I definitely appreciate you sitting down. And Dani, we would love to have you back, even if it is to host a webinar, because people really need to hear the truth, and they need to understand that you can't just walk on the set and take it over. Like, it can happen. Now, you might get on the set and your personality really turn up, right? But I definitely think that we need, education is never going to die out. And Courtney Stark said, this is Courtney, you need to fix your permissions for StreamYard so that we can see you. But Courtney said he loves you.
Oh, thank you.
But Dani, once again, let everybody know where they can find you on all your socials.
All my socials, Dani Gueveraz. That's Guevarez. I'm sure it's up here somewhere. Dani Gueveraz everywhere. I even just got a LinkedIn and actionappliedacting.com.
Yes, guys. And I'm going to flash it one more time for you. Actionappliedacting.com.
Yes.
Guys, please, 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 please tap in, tap in, tap in. We cannot do these things without the proper support and education. So, Dani, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having
me.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Dani Gueveraz. I got it, baby. So, what we're going to do, we are going to take a brief intermission, and we are coming right back. And, guys, honestly, put on your seatbelts. All I'm saying, put on your seatbelts, because you don't want to miss our next guest. It's going down. All righty. It is time. Nah, for real, y'all. It's time to get real. It's time to get real. And we shifting gears. So we had fun. We talked about acting. We got into the creators because that's what y'all want to talk about. But listen, it's time to get really real. So what I'm going to do, I am preparing to bring out authoress Terri Johnson. She is a LCSWC. Okay. Basically, that means that she is a licensed clinical social worker, and amazing young lady. And so, without further ado, author Johnson. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you?
I am amazing. And first and foremost, guys, let me say this. So this conversation now is going to shift into serious business. In light of what just transpired on yesterday in Nashville, how coincidental or not that authoress Terri Johnson is here with me this evening, and she is a clinical social worker. And I think that as we talk about body safety zones and we talk about some of the other projects that she is so eloquently working on, I think it's important that we kind of step back and open our hearts and our minds to where we are in 2023. it's important to note that some of the conversations that we're having in 2023 didn't have to be had in the 60s and 70s. And it leads me to wonder, if the conversations were had then, would we be here now? So
Mm.
I just want to leave you with that as we transition into the introduction of authoress Terri Johnson, LCSW C. So tell us a little bit about you, Miss Terri, and then let's just dive right in.
Okay. So I am a proud Morgan State University graduate of there. It was a social work department. Now it's a school of social work. And I'm also a graduate of University of Maryland School of Social Work. So that's my background, social work. Also, I have been in the field of social work for going on 27 years. And I have mostly worked with children, but I've also worked in jails, detention centers, doing crisis lines for managed care companies. So very experienced. And if I was still working at Magellan, for instance, we would probably be handling the situation for people that are calling in stressed out based on what happened yesterday.
Ooh, shout
But
out
people,
to you.
yeah, so people are really hurt, people are really hurting. But I'm also an authoress, and that just happened. My book anniversary will be coming up the 22nd of April. So I'm new to it in terms of being an authoress, but this subject matter is something that I have been interested in and kind of obsessed with ever since I was a child myself.
Okay, okay. So, Terri, let's dive right in.
Okay.
Body safety zones. Tell us about body safety zones.
So I believe that this book is a tool. That's the point.
Yes,
It's a tool. It's to open up the conversation. It's to assist parents and other people that love children. You don't have to be a parent to have this book. It's anyone that actually loves and wants to protect children. So in the book, there's a social worker, and she works at an elementary school, and she has a health and wellness class. And in her class, she teaches the children 8 and under about their body safety zones. I'm not going to tell you what the zones are. You got to get the book. But what I will say is that everyone thinks that they know what all the zones are, right? What covers up our bathing suit. But that would only be 3 zones. So there's another zone that a lot of people don't think about. And that's why I don't like telling kids about their bathing suit, because I feel like that it's what the bathing suit covers up, because we have some sick people out here, and there's another office that they can use
absolutely.
in order to take advantage of children. Um, in the book, it also teaches them about, safety on the internet, that things are there forever. But when I have the honor of working with children in person, we do movement, we do music and movement. And there's actually a song that a young lady that knew about my book, she actually wrote a song specifically for this. Yeah,
Lovely.
she's really talented.
Okay.
Ashanti Horn. And so it's a couple of things. It allowed me to be creative, even though I can't draw stick people. I was able to get an art to get an artist, a very talented artist, to be able. I showed him pictures of my children and my niece and nephews, and he was able to make it take draw pictures of them in the book. So it's very personal to me. I call it my heart work. I call it my book baby. It's very personal, and it's a subject matter that we are afraid, a lot of us are afraid to talk about, whether it has happened to us, we've been abused, or we've been touched, because we don't sometimes want to think of it as abused, or somebody messed with us. But it is a tool to start the much needed conversation.
Wow. And guys, one of the things that's so interesting, definitely go over and just put it put it in your web browser, go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Nobles, body safety zones. And this is one of the questions that's posed. How much understanding do young children have about keeping their bodies safe around everyone, including their family and friends, etc. Because guys, realistically, this is something that, Terri, I think it was taboo in our community for so long.
Still is.
But
Still is.
you're right. Absolutely. And I guess, what do what would you say are some recommendations to kind of debunk some of this stuff?
Well, one of the things that I would say is that for me personally, I started sex education the day that my children were born. I was a few days late with my son because he was in NICU. But with my daughter, I started off with naming her different body parts, her eyes, her nose, her lips, and I named every part of her body. And I started at the first day that she was born, and I gave it the proper name. So that's one thing. Another thing is that you want to make sure that your children understand that they have agency over their body. Their body does not belong to you as the parent. It does not belong to your relatives. If they don't feel like being picked up, or if they don't feel like being hugged, please respect that and teach them that it's okay for them to tell adults respectfully. It's okay for them to tell adults, no, I don't want to hug, or I don't want to kiss, or, because that starts it up. That lets them know that they're not going to get in trouble. It's not something that they should do, right? And you set that up. You have conversations with them, period, about just things that you may see, because our children are exposed to a lot of things. So if someone, even with their little friends, let them know before you touch someone, before you hug someone, ask permission. That teaches them about consent. And people don't, some people, I've heard all types of things going out vending. I have heard all types of things. And even there was an article written about my work in Ghana and how I taught over body safety zones over there. And some of the comments, I had to stop looking at the comments because some of the comments were so ignorant. So children should not be touched. So they should, we all know what I'm talking about. It's very clear. And some people are like, well, that's, 8 and under, that's too young for children. No, it's not too young, because children are being abused in diapers. So it's not too young to start teaching them about their bodies. It's not too young to start teaching them about consent. You do it in an age appropriate way. And that's what my book teaches. It's in story format. It's a children's story book. It's fun. It has great illustrations, and it just starts the conversation. And I've taught children as young as 3 about it. And I can tell you the 2-3-year-olds that I taught, they had it down packed. They were able to tell you the zones. They were able to show you the zones.
Yes,
okay.
Ma'am.
And when I was in a school for years, I dedicate this book to the woman that gave me a chance as a social worker. And also my students in Baltimore City Public Schools, I dedicated my book to them. And my pre-K babies always would have some story for me about somebody touching them. Somebody touched their hair. And I said, was that a body safety zone? No, Miss T. Johnson, but they touched me and I didn't want them to touch me. And I said, well, so it lets me know they understand. They understand. They got the concept. So there's no such thing as it's too young, because it's about safety. It's about prevention over intervention. Do you want to have to intervene and do all of the work that it's going to take when someone has violated a child? And not to make it scary or like a threatening way, but that's the reality. Do you want to prevent through education, through awareness, teaching them advocacy skills?
Yes.
You can do that. And we can do that as a community to protect our babies. They deserve that. You don't teach them once they get hit by a car how to cross the street.
That's it.
This is the same thing. This is just another lesson that we are responsible in teaching our children if we want to keep our children safe. Does it guarantee that they won't be? No, it doesn't guarantee it. What it does do is that it gives them a chance to know exactly what they're supposed to do. And I also talk to them about who are their safe adults. Who can they tell if something does happen? Predators don't like children that talk. They don't like children that are aware. They don't.
That's it.
They pick another child. And I can tell you that because I literally have run this through with predators. I also had my book looked over by a sex therapist that was working with offenders.
Absolutely.
So that's what's most important to me. And what motivated me, I didn't share this, if I may, what motivated me to write this book was that I was working in Baltimore City, a detention center in Baltimore City. And all of the people that came through the doors, they had to be seen by mental health. Yep. So I would evaluate, women and men. And I would say that out of 90% of the people that I saw, they had been abused. Of that 90%, about 80 or 85% had been sexually abused. Now, when I think about it, these weren't people that have done trespassing or petty theft, right? These were people that were in there for child abuse, people that were in there for misdemeanor, manslaughter, murder, repeat offenders. And I would ask them questions. I would just pick their brain because I would ask them. I was working in an alternative high school at the time. So I would ask them what kind of things, my life is over, this, that, and the other. What's other ways that you can help? I would tell them, there's other ways you can help. Tell me what I can tell my babies that are in an alternative high school that's already going down the wrong path. What could someone have said to turn you the other way? And they would share things with me. So then I started asking offenders, the sex offenders. I would ask them questions. What do parents need to know? And they would tell me.
Indeed. And you know what, Terri, I'm so glad that thank you, because people that have never worked on the inside don't understand the relationships that are often built between casework counselors, licensed mental health professionals, and the individuals who are on the inside. I hate calling them inmates, right? It is what it is, but I just hate it. So I always say my babies, because behind those walls are children. Because what? You have to follow rules to a T. In the free world, we have rules, but we kind of pick and choose whether we want to follow them. Like, we can go out here and go 85 and might not get caught in a 55. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think it's important to understand, guys, that a lot of times the information that we get comes directly from individuals who have experienced it.
Yep.
So who either were victimized or they were the predator. And so I think that it's
or if I may say.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the sad thing is, a lot of victims end up re-victimizing, and it's so tough. It's so tough. Now, Terri, you talked about Ghana and you talked about the work you did in Ghana, but you have some other projects, some other major projects that you've been working on. Tell us a little bit about your passion projects.
Okay, so my number one passion project is body safety zones. That is my number one, and getting it in the hands of as many children around the world as I can. So. But I also have like 99, I have 97, it may be more than that now, but the last I checked, I have 97 children, and then my biological children equals to 99. I have children at the Palm Orphanage over in Ghana, and for the past year, I have been working on opening up a library lounge for them. Now, I'm not a nonprofit, so it has been something that I've been doing. So I get those shifts and working at the ER to pay for it. But I've been able to furnish it, get hand-built casing, shelves in there. Also, we have all the furniture, air conditioning unit. It's the only air conditioning unit, which I was like, it's a lounge. They got to be able to lounge and feel comfortable. So it's the only air conditioning unit that they have at the orphanage. And the reason why I did that is because I'm trying to do as much as I can to make a difference in a positive way in the lives of children.
Indeed.
And so I love them. I want the best for them. I have literally tried to give books away over here in the States at different shelters and things like that. Never get a call back, never get an email back. And so I am always going to be open. I have donated to, a couple of shelters, and I'm going to be going to a shelter next month, actually, because next month is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
So I will be going and reading to some kids at a shelter and, donating books. But I want the books to get in the hands of, every child that it can. So I've also done this in Cartagena, Colombia, in South America.
Wow.
And I plan on doing it in the Dominican Republic this summer.
Yes.
So everywhere that I go, I've been down in Florida. Everywhere that I go and I travel, I try to find a school or orphanage or someplace that I can go to. I will stand on the corner and read my book. If they want to sit on the steps and I sit on the floor, on the ground, wherever it is. I've literally done that though. I've actually read to children on a corner at Snowball Queens in Baltimore City. Shout out to Snowball Queens in Baltimore City that allowed me to come down there while people were standing in line. And, the kids came and had story time while they stood in line to get a snowball. So I will go anywhere to share the message in my ministry that I'm trying to turn into a movement of body safety zones.
That's it, guys. So realistically, everybody, everybody under the sound of my voice, whether you're watching in real time or whether you're watching later, guys, go out there. Body safety zones, BSZ in parentheses. Guys, purchase the book. This is important.
And can I say this, that if you get it on Amazon, it does not add to the movement. It does not.
Okay.
If you get them from me, you contact me. I'm having problems with my Etsy, but if you contact me by Body Safety Zones, it has to have an S on the Z, Body Safety Zones at gmail.com. I can get the books to you, but also IG, Instagram is Persistence is the Way. And then you see my Facebook, Persistent T1, and Twitter, Persistent is T1. All of those you can get in touch with me. I'm trying to figure out how to fix this Etsy account. But I can get the books, to you. But what happens is that part of the proceeds from the books allows me to gift books to shelters, domestic violence and homeless shelters.
Okay.
And that's children are preyed upon, and also in foster care. But those three places, but as you buy a book, money is part of the proceeds goes towards books for children in homeless shelters and domestic violence shelters. So I'm not, trying to make millions off of this book. I'm trying to make sure that millions of kids
get the word out and protect the babies. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that it starts a genre. I hope that other authors write about this subject matter because it's really needed. And there are some books out there, but again, it talks about the bathing suit. And I just hope that other children authors find it's something that they may be interested in, and that they write books about it that's even better than my book. And we have a whole selection of books. You won't
absolutely and girl, a cartoon, because you putting all this other mess in the cartoons for the kids. Why don't you make a Body Safety Zones cartoon? How about that?
It's copywritten, so make sure you contact.
Yes, no, I'm so serious. Like I'm sitting here just thinking, like, everything else can go in the cartoons.
Right.
So why not make a cartoon? Because you know what? If you make a cartoon and you teach the children for real what's going on, a whole lot of the powers that be gonna be in trouble. And let's just call it what it is.
You are telling the truth.
Call it what it is.
And I have tried to get on mainstream, tried to get in the newspaper and things like that, and crickets. But that's okay, because I believe
it's coming.
Yeah, and like your previous previous guest said, Dani, she said that she tried for 14 years. She said she was persistent, and it just made me smile, because my business motto is persistence is the way.
Yep.
And the way has a lot to do with my Christianity. Any Christians might know about what the way is, and who sets the path for your way. Your way, right? And so I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't cried and pouted and everything else about this book, because I love it and I think that it's needed. However, it is about when it's his time and when is the right time. You don't want it to come, you want it in your time, but that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about.
Guys, we started with purpose over popularity. We're ending with purpose over popularity, and we're adding some persistence to it, because slow and steady wins the race, and it's going to win it every time. I don't care what social media shows you, slow and steady is going to always win the race. And you know why you're going to win the race? Because you won't be tired.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, Miss Terri.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. Guys, contact Terri Johnson at bodysafetyzones@gmail.com. I charge everybody under the sound of my voice. Hit her up and at least get 5 books. At least get 5 books. Even if you don't have children, try to get 5 books. Period. Try to get 5 books so that she can gift these books. And even better, get the books and then you gift them.
Absolutely.
For real. I would never understand. Y'all out here buying iPhones for these children, $300-$400 bags, bundles for these children. Buy this book.
Oh, and here's the other one. Because children learn through play at the age group that I'm doing. So I created a coloring activity
workbook.
And it has memory game cards. It has memory game cards. Now, where have you seen that at? It has memory game cards.
Not in years.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Yeah.
You remember back in the day, them books was like $30, and everybody, our parents was like, I ain't paying no $30 for no book. I'm gonna make you some. We're gonna go get some index cards.
$15 with tax. Yes. $15, and the other one is $17.34. So
absolutely. Guys, listen. This is what it's about. It's about bringing you creatives, innovators, and leaders who bring you nothing but joy, jewels, and justice. Authoress Terri Johnson, we thank you so much for being here. We know this is not the last we're going to hear from you. And I pray that this movement continues to go, 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 and doesn't let up.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, guys, it's been so real, Miss Terri. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Guys, it's been real. It's consulting time with your girl Lily Mae, the last Tuesday in March. Can you believe we are moving into Q2? And so we'll be back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen.